Kyle Baylor, 1999. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey guys, first time joining you live. Had to be here to talk Mercedes. She's my favorite wrestler. I want her to re-sign with New Japan and Stardom so she can continue to carve out her own path separate from Bayley and WWE.
Okay. Hey, brother, that's not bad. That's not a bad idea. If that's what you're looking for your favorite wrestler to do, is continue to separate herself. I'll be honest, I always thought she was separate and stood out from Bayley, who's very talented, and not demeaning her at all. But I always thought she definitely stood out from the minute she did that Snoop entrance at WrestleMania. For me, it was game over. That she's a megastar.
Yeah. I mean, only two women have headlined a night of WrestleMania in a singles match, right? And it's Mercedes and Bianca Belair. So,
but how she carries herself, and she's very diminutive. She's not tall. She's very short, okay, and very, very like she's not muscular either, right? That's how impressive that it factor is that she has. Think about it, because when she comes out, you think she is a star, and you believe she thinks she's a star. More importantly, she's got crazy swag and very believable.
Yeah, and she, obviously, whatever she wants to do, obviously that's best for her. If she still wants to just have fun, is not looking to commit, to a weekly schedule with a wrestling company, that's great. She's been out of action since May. She probably is going to be coming back soon, and obviously the big question is, where does she ultimately end up if she does go back to one of the U.S. promotions? And obviously the two big choices are AEW and WWE. AEW, they showed her sitting in the stands during the pre-show at All In, and obviously I don't think they did that unless they thought there was a good chance that they would sign her. But things have changed since then, and momentum has changed a lot over the last year, towards WWE's side. But I think just with the women's division, just how strong it's been in WWE, how often you see the women in the main event of a TV show, or which is where you rarely see that in AEW. And so I think I could definitely see WWE being the more attractive option for her right now, as far as those two go.
I mean, I was told before All In, I was told by a source that with a reasonably close connection to AEW that it was a done deal, that this was happening with Mercedes showing up. I was told Mercedes, and I was told Adam Copeland. Count on it. Both are happening. I think though now, and to the point that was made, yes, Kyle, she can absolutely develop her career and continue to make a name for herself. But right now, I feel that her stock is higher because she went out on her own. She has intense interest from both promotions and probably Impact as well, where Trinity ended up going. I think, though, that if you look at it, WWE right now is trying to do something kind of special in that they want to be the name for professional wrestling. Punk is part of that. Cody is part of that. It's kind of amazing. They just let things with Ronda lapse. But I think with Mercedes, like, this is a chance for them to get somebody that's going to have immediate interest, bring back a main eventer. It's going to just keep that momentum going. They're on a roll right now. I think WWE right now doesn't let Goldberg or, anyone that they have friendly ties with go to AEW right now. I think they want to have all the chess pieces.
Really, I disagree, because you saw like Will Ospreay was a free agent. They let him go to AEW. They let Edge go. Ronda Rousey, that was more her decision. She wants to go, have another kid, is what she was saying. And I just think that they're, in business mode right now, where if someone's too expensive, they're not going to overspend for a talent. We saw that with Jay White, again, Will Ospreay, and other free agents over this year. I think they're going to try to hold on to the talent that they have. But as far as bringing someone back, it has to be worth it. I think Mercedes is, because she already has that. She's already well known to their audience.
Yeah, I know.
So where do you guys think Mercedes ends up? Obviously, we don't know. It's her decision. There's no.
I think
she
speculation. I do think she'll end up at AEW.
You do?
I do. I think they've got to throw a buttload of money at her now. Especially, they got to do something that they think is going to shift momentum. They can bring anybody in at this point. It won't shift the momentum. The momentum shift is going to happen when, no offense, I keep harping on Tony here, and I feel bad doing it. Because he opened a wrestling company. My friends have great jobs there. And I don't.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
As a wrestler, I would love this guy for doing this, right? Maybe giving me an opportunity if I was still wrestling, right? But I'm not. So with that said, I got to tell the truth. Like he talks too damn much. He needs to slow his roll on Twitter. He comments about everything. He just got it. Sometimes you got to learn just to like not read everything, if that's what you got to do, because it makes him look too thin-skinned, and he's so reactionary. Stop doing that, because it brings, in my opinion, it sets the company back like a millimeter by millimeter by millimeter. Like what's that saying? Paper cut, death of 1,000 paper cuts. You know what I mean? Yeah. Versus just stop commenting and thinking you have to do something. Like, did you see the news the other day about like the Ric Flair and his energy drink?
Yeah.
The audacity to say he's like, Ric Flair is paying us to be there. Like, okay, so if you're getting heat for having Rick there, then you shouldn't have had him there. You chose to do it, okay? So now you deal with whatever people say about it. That's how this works. Now, you can't now, a month or 2 months later, say, oh, well, actually, he's paying us to be, making him look like no offense, if you don't like Rick, I get it, but he's still a wrestling legend. You don't disrespect him like that. That was very disrespectful, and it jabrones him, which makes no sense at all, because he's on your program. So let me ask a question to Tony. If we're having anybody on your show, if they pay you, you know, I want my son Jackson to be on the show. I'll pay you to do it. Will he be able to be on the show? No, of course not.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I'm talking about. That is in like stupid commentary that doesn't need to happen, because it's hurting the boys and the girls in that locker room.
Well, and look, if this was another if this was another Ospreay, I would say like, oh, sure, I get it why they want to be at AEW. But if you watch the way AEW books their women's division, there are very few opportunities there at any given time for women.
That's the thing, is I don't see like a big dream match or a huge match if she were to come into AEW. I mean, Britt, you know, has kind of been pushed to the sidelines for a while now.
She can come back like that, though, and I buy that.
I agree, but it doesn't have that same. I don't know. I think she ends up back in WWE. Glenn, what would you say is your prediction?
I think it's gonna be WWE. I think that it's not just NXT, even on SmackDown and Raw. Like the women's division, yes, there are periods of time when it's not booked well or not given enough airtime, but right now it seems like it's on the upswing again. I think she can get some concessions and guarantees that will, you know, satisfy her concerns of why she left in the first place. And I think that, man, some four horsewoman angle, although now with Charlotte potentially being injured after what happened Friday in that match with Asuka, but that 4 horsewomen angle for a WrestleMania main event, be it a tag match or a 4-way match, like I think that's too good for her to pass up.
Oh, she'll eventually go back there. It will happen. It will happen, in my opinion. Yeah. But I do think she's going to pass through AEW.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because what I was saying, what my point about the Tony rant again was to point out that he's very, 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 very reactionary. And in his head, he thinks, because he's getting so much ish about Punk coming back to WWE, and basically he hand-delivered him back to WWE, which makes it all the worse, right? So you see it that way, and now he feels like he's got to sign another big talent to kind of sway the momentum, but it's not going to sway the momentum, because we've seen Daniel Bryan, Edge, all these big stars from WWE come to AEW. Like, we've seen plenty, tons. It's got to be a complete shift, a paradigm shift for the company and how they're writing their stories. And no offense to Tony, the management in of itself.
Yeah.